Hey guys, and welcome back to the Santa's Bricks. My name is Jevin, and now one of the key play features of LEGO sets is things that shoot. Now over the years, LEGO has made many different kinds of shooters. Whether it's the spring-loaded shooter, the stud shooter, or even the flick fire missile. So today I'm going to be doing a brick hit video based around these shooters. So let's get started. So first we're going to start off with the spring-loaded shooter. Now in order to fire this shooter, all you do is press on the back of this red piece right here, and then it'll shoot out just like so. Now the only problem with this shooter is if you want to shoot a whole bunch of these, it's kind of tricky. You can see if I stack these on top of each other, I can fire all three at once if I push down on the backs of them all. But that can be a little tricky at times. Here's what we're going to do to fix that problem. So first we're going to start off with our base here. And now from there we're going to add our shooters. Now in between these shooters we're going to add two 1x4 plates on top of them. So now that we have all those on there, let's build a wall behind it. So next let's add a cover over the top. Next we're going to take a Technic shaft right here and slide this onto our three bullets in the shooters. And this is why we added those two tiles, so that they line up with the holes in the Technic shaft. So now let's add a cover behind that shaft. Now, normally you would add another wall here, but I'm going to leave that open so that we can see how this mechanism works. Now I just noticed that we actually built this slightly too close to our base so that when we push down on this it doesn't actually shoot the shooters. So we're going to have to raise that bottom up a little bit in order to give it enough wiggle room to shoot it. So there we go. Now that we've raised that up another plate, now it should fire when we press down on this black shaft here. So let's test it out. So as you guys saw there, once I pushed down on this black shaft, it pressed down on all three of those projectiles at the same time, therefore making them shoot out of the shooter at the same time. So now let's move on to the 6-stud shooter. So the way how this works is underneath these studs there's a circle with a little tooth sticking off of it that as it spins around it shoots each stud off. So as I turn this little clip on the back, which is connected to a shaft that runs through this, it'll spin around and shoot out all the studs, like so. Now then, the main problem with this shooter is that it's kind of hard to spin that back part by hand. And now a very easy way to avoid that problem is to use a LEGO Power Functions motor. So to connect this up, first we're going to have to take out this gray piece on the back, just like so. Then to the back of the shooter we're going to have to add two Technic pins into the holes that you see here. Then we're going to take our motor and hook this into the motor. Make sure that that center pin is all the way into the motor, just like so. So now let's hook the motor up to a battery, and then once we just turn the battery on, the 6 studs will shoot out. So next let's move on to the LEGO cannon. So inside of this cannon, you can see here we have this little black 1x1 cylinder, and then we just put that inside the cannon and it slides in there just like so. Then we pull this little tab back and let go, which actually then has a piece inside that goes and it shoots up and it hits that black piece right out of the cannon, like so. Now the mechanism of this cannon actually works really well, and there isn't much we can really do to improve it. So instead, I'm going to show you guys a great way how you can display this cannon. So first we're going to take our little cannonball out of the cannon. And then we're going to take some of these white cylinders, connect a couple of those together, and put that inside the mouth of the cannon so that we can have a little piece of it sticking out. Now the key piece to making this look really cool is this little ice cream piece right here. Now what this allows us to do is take a cylinder and put it on that top little ball there, and then it can actually turn in that socket, allowing us to position it at different angles. So we're going to take this and add this onto our cylinder that is sticking out of the cannon. So from there we can just take our cannonball and add that to the tip, making it look like it is in mid-air after being shot out of the cannon. So next let's move on to the stud shooter. So this is a very simple shooter. Really all you do is just push on this gray piece in order to shoot a stud out of it, like so. However, just like the spring-loaded shooter, it's hard to get multiple of these to shoot all at once. So let's fix that problem. So first let's start out with our base and add 3 stud shooters onto it, just like so. Now we potentially could just stop here and press on these 3 right here, but it makes it hard to make sure that all of them shoot at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a Technic brick and put it next to the stud shooters, just like that. Then we'll take a Technic pin and put that into that brick, just like so. Now we're going to add the key piece. We have this little L-shaped Technic brick, and we are just going to connect that onto that pin. Now what we have here is this hinge kind of falls over these 3 stud shooters so that when we push down on them, they will fire off one by one in order, like so. So now let's move on to the Flickfire missile. So for this missile, you can see the projectile here. We just have, this is the key piece here. Now onto this we can just connect this cone piece, and this fits right into a Technic brick. So in order to make this shoot out, all you do is flick this little back gray piece right here, and the missile will shoot out. So let's work on making it how we can fire 4 of these missiles all at once. First, let's build our base. So first let's put down the Technic bricks that are going to hold our 4 Flickfire missiles. Now on either side of these, I'm going to put up a wall just in order to hold the slider that we're going to put in here in place so that it doesn't fall out of the sides. Now to the inside here, I'm going to add a 2x4 red tile, and to the back I'm going to add this L-shaped tile behind that 2x4 so that we end up with this. Now for the main portion of our slider, which is going to go and hit our Flickfire missiles, I'm going to use this little cupboard piece. Now at the top of this, we're going to add a 2x2 tile. So now let's put this onto this red track that we have made for it, just like so. So now let's add a roof to the top of our housing unit for the Flickfire missiles. So now we're pretty much done. As you can see here, we have our slider, which thanks to the 2 pegs here doesn't go too far in, so we can always pull it back out. And you can see this slides nice and smooth so that it doesn't get stuck when we're trying to shoot the missiles out of these 4 holes. So now let's add our 4 Flickfire missiles into these holes. So now when we push on this little black box in the back, these 4 Flickfire missiles will shoot out all at the same time. And those are our Lego shooters. Alright guys, since that is our Lego shooters brick tip. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe right down there.